The story begins with a child named Eli Cheng, who dreams of becoming a teacher in the future. But for some unknown reason, he is deeply worried about something. He stands on the school rooftop and starts shouting loudly to relieve his anxiety, calling himself a failure. He says he doesn't know how much more hard work it will take to get admitted into the biggest school in Hong Kong. After this, the story jumps a decade ahead, where we see a school teacher, Mr. Cheng, waking up as usual. He finishes his work early and catches the bus to go to school. After a tiring day, when he decides to take some rest, he receives a message from his wife, Sherry, pressuring him to sign the divorce papers as soon as possible. This has created a storm in his life. That same evening, while cleaning, the school peon finds a letter from a child. He is terrified to discover that it is a suicide note. Without hesitation, he hands the letter over to the school authorities. The next morning, the principal holds a meeting to discuss this serious matter. Everyone is concerned, but the principal decides to ignore it. He does not want other students to be disturbed by the letter, as it might affect their upcoming university entrance exams. However, Mr. Cheung is determined to get to the root of the issue. He understands the seriousness of the situation and wonders what the child must be going through. He requests the principal to let him handle the matter, promising to find the child and help solve his problem. Mr. Cheung begins his investigation immediately. However, during class, he struggles to concentrate as the words from the letter keep replaying in his mind. After returning home, he tries to match the handwriting from the letter with the exam papers of all the students in his class, but he finds no match. Yet something about the letter feels familiar, as if it reminds him of someone. Driven by this feeling, he goes to his room and searches through his old belongings. There, he finds an old diary. As soon as he starts reading it, he is transported back to the moments of his past. This was a time when Eli Cheng was still in primary school. One day, he attended the school talent show with his parents, where his younger brother Yau-Chun performed exceptionally well on the piano. Seeing this, their father Cheung and mother Heidi Cheung felt immense pride. Yau-Chun was truly a gifted child. Not only was he the best in academics, but he also excelled in various other activities. Watching his brother shine, Eli Cheng longed for the day he could make his parents just as proud of him. One night, as usual, Eli Cheng was reading motivational comics when he suddenly heard his father shouting loudly. He stepped outside his room and witnessed a heartbreaking scene. His father was verbally abusing his mother, but it didn't stop there. His father even raised his hand against her, all because she had given birth to a worthless son like Eli Cheng, who had no interest in studies or extracurricular activities. Seeing this, Cheung ran to his room in fear and hid under his blanket, trying to escape the terrifying reality. Moments later, his father stormed into the room and demanded to know why he was still awake so late at night. Before Cheung could respond, his father noticed the comics he had been reading. The sight of them only fueled his anger further. He severely punished Cheung, making the poor boy suffer for something as simple as reading. By the time Cheung woke up the next morning, his younger brother Yau-Chun was already dressed and ready. As usual, Cheung was running late. Despite being the elder sibling, he lagged behind Yau-Chun in many ways. Perhaps this was why his father disliked him so much. On his way to school, Cheung bought a diary. He believed that keeping a diary could make a person smarter and help improve his grades. The next day at breakfast, Cheung promised his father that he would study hard and try to rank in the top 10 of his class. In response, his father said that if Cheung managed to reach the top 10, or even the top 15, he would take him on a trip to Disneyland. Additionally, he would receive the same amount of pocket money as his brother. Hearing this, Cheung was overjoyed. His brother, Yau-Chun, was also willing to help him achieve this goal. A few weeks later, Cheung's mother was called to meet his class teacher. During the meeting, the teacher informed her that Cheung needed to work harder in his studies, as his exam results were not satisfactory. Hearing this, tears welled up in his mother's eyes. She knew all too well how much this would affect not only their home, but also her own personal life. When she reached home, she found that the principal of Hong Kong's biggest school had come to meet their family. She was there to congratulate Yau-Chun for passing one of the country's toughest exams. To celebrate this joyous occasion, Yau-Chun's parents and the principal went out to a restaurant for dinner. Meanwhile, Poor Cheung was sent elsewhere with the maid for his meal. But instead of focusing on eating, he buried himself in his studies, determined to improve his grades. He longed to become the apple of his parents' eye, just like his brother, Yau-Chun. That same night, Cheung's father found out about his poor grades in school. His father was furious and beat him severely. The next morning, when Cheung's father saw him struggling in his piano class, he began scolding him once again. Seeing this, the piano teacher, Miss Wang, intervened. She told his father that just because Cheung wasn't as skilled as his brother, didn't mean he wouldn't succeed in life. She reminded him that every child has a unique talent, and with time, Cheung would find his own path and achieve something great. Miss Wang always supported Cheung. She taught him with patience and kindness, which deeply inspired him. Because of her, Cheung began to dream of becoming a great teacher one day, just like her. The story now shifts back to the present, where we see Mr. Cheng and Miss Ho investigating a student. They suspect that the note might belong to her. Both of them understand the struggles she is going through. Instead of questioning her, they take her straight to a hill and encourage her to scream loudly to release her frustration. At first she hesitates, but when she sees Teacher Cheung and Miss Ho doing the same, she gathers the courage to join them. She screams her heart out, releasing all her pent-up emotions. And finally, she begins to feel a sense of calm. In the evening, after dropping her home, the student turned to them with gratitude. After this, Cheung returns to his apartment. Exhausted from the day, he lies down on the sofa and starts watching his wedding video. As he watches, memories of Sherry flood his mind. How happy they were after their marriage. He recalls the day he found out that Sherry was pregnant. At first, they were both overjoyed and excited, but as time passed, Cheung began to feel that he wasn't ready to start a family. When he confessed this to Sherry, she was devastated. Left with no choice, she had to undergo an abortion. From that day on, tension grew between them, eventually escalating to the point of divorce. Lost in these painful memories, Cheung suddenly remembers the diary, and the story once again shifts to the past. One day, Cheung learns that the author of his favorite comic book has committed suicide. This news deeply saddens him, affecting him so much that he falls ill while taking his exams at school. Seeing his condition, the principal calls his mother and asks her to take him home. On the way, Cheung finally opens up to his mother, confessing that he has been feeling troubled for days and struggling to sleep at night. He even asks her to take him to a psychiatrist. However, his mother dismisses his concerns, calling them baseless. She tells him not to dwell on unnecessary things. Like every night, Cheung struggled to sleep. Eventually, he picked up his favorite comics and started reading them again, hoping to understand why the author had taken such a drastic step. Was it because he couldn't become what he had dreamed of in life? The next day, when Cheung returned home from school, he found that all his toys had been taken away. But things took an even worse turn when his father fired his only companion, his piano teacher, Miss Wang, and replaced her with a strict new teacher. The new teacher was just like his father, harsh and unforgiving. As a result, little Cheung became too afraid to even place his fingers on the piano, fearing he might make a mistake. With this, the story shifts back to the present. While reading the diary, Mr. Cheng receives news that his father has been admitted to the hospital. Without hesitation, he leaves everything behind and rushes to see him. However, for some reason, he doesn't stay there for long. Without saying a word, he boards a bus to return home. As he sits on the bus, he checks his phone and comes across a heartbreaking piece of news, one that instantly reminds him of his childhood. One night during Cheung's childhood, he asked his brother Yau-Chun to help him with his studies. In return, he promised to take him to a secret place to play. Excited by the idea, Yau-Chun happily agreed. After finishing their studies, the first thing they did was visit the Play Store. Yau-Chun used his pocket money to buy some toys, and then Cheung led him to the rooftop of a building. Once there, Cheung encouraged him to scream loudly to release his stress. That day became the most fun day of Yau-Chun's life. He laughed, played, and enjoyed every moment with his elder brother, creating a memory he would cherish forever. But then, the building manager saw them and reported it to their mother. As a result, it wasn't Yau-Chun, but poor Cheung who faced the consequences. His mother beat him severely, blaming him for everything. As further punishment, his much-anticipated vacation trip to America with the family was cancelled. In her anger, she warned him that if he didn't pass with good marks that year, she would no longer consider him her son. This became the worst day of Cheung's life. Until now, he had struggled with his father's rejection, but today, even his mother had turned her back on him. Cheung goes to his father's room, hands him a broom, and asks him to beat him, but his father rebukes him, saying he no longer considers him his son. After this, Cheung completely breaks down. That night, he cries a lot while hugging his brother Yau-Chun. Through his tears, he pours out his pain in a letter, writing that he is not worthy of anything. He calls himself the most useless person in the world, someone who will never achieve anything in life, someone who will likely be forgotten soon after death. With this regret in his heart, he leaves his family's life forever, going to a place from where no one has ever returned. In the present, Mr. Cheng breaks down in tears after reading his brother's diary. The truth is finally revealed. Mr. Cheng is actually Yau-Chun, and Cheung was his elder brother. Out of fear of disgrace, their father had lied to everyone, telling them that his son had died due to an internal illness. But in reality, it was nothing less than a murder, one committed by his own parents. At Cheung's funeral, away from the grieving family, Miss Wong sat quietly in a corner. Her silent tears spoke louder than words. Everything changed after this tragic incident. Yau-Chun never tried to impress his father again. His mother also left her strict and unforgiving husband, choosing to stay away from him. Since then, Yau-Chun has held on to his brother's diary, reading it over and over. Yau-Chun gets the news that his father's condition is very critical. He rushes to meet his father, where both of them talk after a long time. Even today, his father regrets his deeds. Deep inside, he also realizes that he is responsible for Cheung's death. Because of all these aspects of Yau-Chun's life, he has been afraid of starting a family. Sherry was also unaware of all these incidents that happened to him, but today, Yau-Chun meets her and hands over his brother's diary. After reading the diary, Sherry realizes that she had misunderstood Yau-Chun. After a few months, just before the class farewell at the end of the year, Yau-Chun shares some childhood incidents from his life. Along with this, he advises the students to enjoy life like a game, where winning or losing does not matter. He also gives them his personal number, telling them that if they ever face any problems, they can reach out to him. While on the bus home, Yau-Chun receives a message on his phone from the same child whose letter was found at school a few days ago. They meet, and the child opens up about his problems. Yau-Chun listens carefully, offers him guidance, and reassures him. After their conversation, they happily bid goodbye to each other. A while later, Yau-Chun is seen holding a bouquet in his hands, walking toward the rooftop of the same building where he once went with his brother. Standing there, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment, he had become the kind of teacher his brother had dreamed of being. Closing his eyes, he takes a deep breath, as if sensing his brother's presence beside him. And with that, the story comes to an end.